I think we handled it pretty well. You know, we could have obviously did things better, but to say that, you know, we only the amount of yards that they had, you know, it could have been a worse game than that. But you know, I think we played pretty well. You know, well enough for us to win the game, and that's all that counts. You know, not about how many yards they run or whatever, you know, about anything like that. But on the last drive, they could have scored, and you know, that could have been it for us. So I think we handled the run pretty well. And obviously, you know, we go fix a couple of things, but it was pretty fair.
Could you see a little confusion on their part when you guys made those adjustments in the third quarter, that they weren't quite sure where you guys were coming from at that point?
Yeah, that could have been it. Or you know, I think, you know, the biggest thing was just trying to, you know, do things that try to go to ways that were our weaknesses and attack our weaknesses. But I think altogether we played pretty well, and you know, when they made those adjustments, that, you know, we still played pretty well. So we responded pretty well as a defense, and you know, the offense putting up the amount of points that they did, and we're not allowing the Utah to score any touchdowns was tremendous also.
What did you do better in the red zone to hold them to the 3 field goals?
Well, we had some key stops. Talk about Jaleel Wadood, Nate Metters, you know, guys rushing the passer, getting sacks, AWOL. So all those guys, you know, just stepping up and playing together was really what stopped them in the red zone.
What have you learned about this rivalry in your short time here, you know?
SC rivalry?
Yeah.
Well, I know it's a week like no other. We'll prepare to our opponent like we always prepare, and you know, it's gonna be a lot of intensity, a lot of hype, a lot of emotions going on this week. You know, because we're competing for, you know, the next stage of after this win with our opponents. So our biggest thing is to stay focused and, you know, to put last week in the past and just keep moving forward, because we, you know, we're fingertips away from what we worked so hard for with guys dropping this season, and you know, the changes that were made this year with the team all together. So I think, you know, we just look forward and, you know, just grind it out. I think we'll come out on top with the type of way we've been playing.
Does you get the same feeling around campus or around town that you would get back home when that Alabama-Louisiana State game was approaching? Is there?
Well, that's two different type of comparisons. That's more of, you know, like it's both crazy, you know, because I've been up there at Baton Rouge when it's Alabama and LSU. Right. It's crazy. But over here last year when we played SC, it was crazy though. So the whole vibe was different, you know.
Well, how was it different?
Well, everybody's excited. Professors are excited. You know, students are excited that
here.
Here at UCLA are excited. Just everybody's just so hyped up about the game, and you know, it just brings that energy to the team that we need to, you know, go out with a bang.
And down there, how was it?
Well, SC football is crazy, man, because, you know, you got diehard Tiger fans and diehard Alabama fans, and this rivalry been going on for so long with, you know, the great guys that's been going throughout the program. So, I mean, the rivalry was one of the reasons why I wanted to go to LSU, because, you know, it's such a big weekend, and but you know, I'm here and we
you got a rivalry.
Yeah, and I won my first rivalry game, you know, so that was pretty dope.
I would imagine you don't come across a lot of Alabama fans when you're in New Orleans or Baton Rouge or wherever, whereas here in LA, you get both sides of the equation.
Yeah, for sure. Because, see, for me, I didn't know about UCLA till like my junior year of high school. So, like, you know, I just knew about the whole SC tradition. So, I mean, you know, when I came here, I was like, oh, it's really like, it's that big? And it's like, yeah, it's like the LSU Alabama rivalry of the Pac-12. So, like, that was pretty dope, man. For us to go with a bang last year and win it, I think is awesome. And, you know, I think if we could win it this year, it'd be even more special, because then we'll go to the Pac-12 championship. So, you know, that's a moment that I want to share with my teammates and coaches, because I think we work for it, and, you know, we can continue to work for it also.
How much has Jayon stepping up this year made a difference on offense?
Man, Jayon has stepped up tremendously, you know, with Miles going out and coming and replace Miles and playing at an all-time high right now. I think he's playing he's playing some of his career best games for, you know, to say he's a junior, and, you know, he's playing his butt off and making plays and, you know, learning the defense pretty well. So, you know, Jayon's a great partner to work with, and the inside back, I think, you know, I count on him a lot to do his job as well as he does for me. And, you know, we work best for each other, and I think that's why he's playing so well right now.
Has that kind of been a theme of this season? Just guys, obviously you guys had so many injuries, just these guys stepping in and doing, you know, almost as well maybe as you could have expected.
Yeah, well, you know, you look at it. You look at the start of it last year. I mean, this year with the guys that we had started with Fabian and all these other guys. You know, our biggest thing that our Coach Scott is trying to preach to us as linebackers is, you know, prepare like you're always a starter because you never know when your name is going to be called. And we started competing and playing the way we've been playing. You know, like getting rid of the old practice habits and developing new ones was, you know, his philosophy, and that's why we want him as a coach. So. I mean, we've obviously playing a lot faster and better, and you know, as linebackers, and I think that'll help us in the long run because you know you need fast, physical guys that know what they're doing in the inside.
You never want to obviously lose guys this season, but did it help to maybe lose some of the guys earlier in September, where it's getting you guys a number of games back?
Well, it's always good to see how you're going to respond to changes on your team, you know, injuries or you know whatever the case may be. So. You know, I think the biggest part is, you know, like I said, you know, how do you respond? You prepare your second guys like, you know, like the first guys. So I think that helped pretty well, and it made us strong as a football team because, you know, as you can see now, we're right where we want to be. You know, like the vision is right in our hands. So the biggest part from now on is just, you know, just to capitalize on what we have because, you know, the changes have been made. We just got to roll with them.